Alright. The stream will work better with a microphone, I'll tell you that. The Matrix doesn't appear to like me streaming with a camera, with the updated software. The same computer, same system, randomly just spikes and lags and drops out. Now, maybe, just maybe, it is the Matrix. But back to reality. I'm going to cover pages, as I mentioned in the comments, 18 and onwards, to about 22. And this particular mapping process is as follows. Now, I'm not going to read it all because you can all probably read that, but I guess the key takeaway from these few pages, where they have sections, token mapping framework, components of the token system, function and framework. It explains token system, a function, applying the token mapping framework. So they're working on a framework. Crypto asset. This particular image appears to be the function in which they're trying to apply. It then goes on to explain, so it gets a little bit more technical in sections C and D. I'll cover them later, not in this stream. And then it says here, applying the functional perimeter, within this proposal. Most likely they've put a lot of effort into it, and whether or not we actually get a say in how this is all rolled out, I'm not really sure. Again, I'm going to be advocating for pro-crypto freedoms, basically leave DeFi alone. Centralized exchanges are the ones that stuffed up, and try and teach people to avoid scams, just like in every other sector. Now, I guess their counter argument is going to be they want more regulation so that businesses can thrive. However, it's going to be a catch-22, because if they implement and roll out more regulation upon DeFi primarily, then most likely they're going to stifle innovation or limit it, which may be what they're trying to do. I'm not really sure. Hopefully I'll learn more as I go on. We do have here, it then pivots from the perimeter that they're working on and the framework to the high-level taxonomy. It then explains different sections. So for an intermediate token systems, is how they define it. Crypto asset services, intermediate crypto assets. It also has 4 public token systems. Section B, potentially another categorization, network tokens, a type of crypto assets, and public smart contracts, including some crypto assets created using smart contract tokens. It's a funny section. It almost diverts you from the framework as such and the functional perimeter, and moves you towards the taxonomy of it. So I guess the way in which it would be, in essence, classified as taxed, I guess, tax law. Now, I guess I'll start with this section here. Basically, the consultation questions, then explain. The paper argues that creating specific taxonomy for crypto assets, digital assets such as cryptocurrencies, may not be useful for regulation purposes. In simpler terms, the author believes that categorizing crypto assets into a certain classification may not be effective in achieving regulatory goals. So, by the sounds of it, the breakdown of these classifications, these categorizations, may not be enough by themselves, so further regulation would be required. I'm taking away from that. Now, up until this section here with a high level of taxonomy, where it goes over so what does these sections mean? Briefly, from my analysis, it is saying that the paper proposes the paper proposes a token mapping framework to assess various products in the crypto ecosystem against a functional perimeter. You can see here, functional perimeter. Now, the framework consists of 3 concepts: tokens, token systems, and functions. The tokens are physical or digital units of information that have a role in a token system. A token system is a collection of steps involved in performing a function, and a function is any benefit ensured or facilitated by the token system to the token holder. The framework can be applied to crypto assets and products or services that use or rely on crypto assets. The functional perimeter captures, facilities used for making financial investments, managing financial risk, and making non-cash payments. The token system function framework helps to identify the relevant function to assess it within the context of the regulatory framework. Again, not sure. Kind of sounds like they're coming after DeFi. Now, I could be wrong because the very last question, if you skim over, it's hard to do because you have to understand part C, part D. You have to understand the questions being asked. Basically, it says here, you know, they literally say, they call it a bespoke crypto asset taxonomy, may have minimal regulatory value. I think because maybe it's because literally everything's on chain, so you can, you know, see what's actually going on. There's no hiding it. But in terms of regulation, maybe they're wanting to have their sort of stamp of approval placed on everything, possibly DeFi, not sure yet, before you can use it. Again, very similar to the US, how they're trying to, well, they did censor and sanction US, they sanctioned code somehow. They were able to sanction code, and mind-blowing, just mind-blowing. Now, there's not that many more questions to cover, so I've been able to get through a fair few bit. I'll go over my actual response I plan on submitting, or draft the proposal anyway, later on in another stream. Yeah, but it goes in more detail. These intermediate token systems, crypto asset services as financial products, crypto asset services as financial services, intermediate crypto assets, wrapped real world assets, example one. Now, I did break it down a little bit, whereby, where is it? Some of them are basically describing centralized exchanges. As I go through, I'm trying to take notes and happy to share. Basically, where is it? Don't think I did, but yeah, it falls back on the intermediated token systems or public token systems. Now, moving forward, other real-world assets, regulatory and policy issues, rights on occurring to holder. These are some of the headlines I'm going over quickly. Identifying products and issues. Identifying the terms of the arrangement. Now, it gets more deeper in this section here. Basically, consultation questions for the next section, not this section. Some intermediate crypto assets are backed by existing terms, goods or assets. These crypto assets can be broadly described as wrapped or real-world assets. It does go on to say, you know, are reforms necessary to ensure wrapped real-world assets get the same regulatory treatment as that of the asset backing it? Why? What reforms are needed? So again, this is our chance to explain to the world, well, explain to Australian Treasury why we think, you know, we should and how we should apply or not apply regulation. Do we need regulation? Is regulation a good thing, or will it stifle innovation? Thank you, chat. Yeah, it's just some boring stuff, I know, but I think it's worth it if you're into cryptocurrency, because anyone, as far as I'm aware, any stakeholder across the world can submit to these particular papers. So, yeah, have at it. What else? Yeah, I'll cover these a bit later on, these other questions. It's got here also, this is like the section D, public token systems, network tokens. It goes over, you know, cryptocurrency network, general purpose network, cryptocurrency network tokens. It also has general purpose network tokens, fee market mechanisms, public smart contracts it covers as well, and basically, you know, interoperability mechanisms, economic mechanism, coordination mechanism. They seem to reference MakerDAO at one point in time. I'll go over a bit more in depth later. Decentralized finance, they do cover here. They have done a lot of research. I'll give it to them for that, because a lot of this stuff I have no idea. I've been over in my own little bubble, basically looking at, what was it? Yeah, mainly Hex, man. Some systems that have popped up in the Richard Heart ecosphere. This other stuff I haven't been touching. Maybe some other stuff would look familiar to you guys out there if you have engaged in these particular smart contracts, the way they've laid it out though, it's got borrowing and lending, crypto network resources, asset management, derivatives, fundraising. I think they try and name them in certain ways, and how they sort of they might have a different name, but a similar function is basically my understanding. It goes on to say regulatory and policy issues. It also goes on to say these are the last questions, and then it has all of them together. It also has conclusion, insights, and next steps. Now, that's a little bit more. But conclusion, not conclusion. These consultation questions, the very last question, it goes on to say, some smart contract applications assist users to connect to automated market makers, AMMs. I guess the simple example here is Uniswap. What are the key differences and in risk between using an AMM and using a service of a crypto asset exchange? So I think here they are actually comparing decentralized exchanges to centralized exchanges. I'm not sure if they're going to try and create a formula. Well, they are going to try and create a formula. They're going to try and create a framework to either categorize them the same or different. I'm not sure yet. This is where we have our say. What else we got? Crypto assets. Yeah, so pretty interesting stuff I found. Lots of reading. We've even got here though, question 13a. What some smart contract applications assist users to connect to smart contracts that implement a pawnbroker style of collateralization lending, i.e. only resource in the event of default is the collateral. What are the key risk differences between smart contract and conventional pawnbroker lending? It's literally comparing smart contracts, so I would assume that's DeFi, to conventional pawnbroker lending. So I guess that's like the regulated industry. So I can see, I can just see them stuffing it up. I can see them stifling innovation. I just hope they don't. They really need to stay out. Like, there's enough laws as it is now. There's enough incentive to participate in cryptocurrency. There has been some, giant collapses, but that was regulated exchanges. That was criminals doing what criminals do, and that is break the law. Meanwhile, law-abiding citizens are now going to have flow-on effects because of the criminals. That is just so, what's the word? That sums up what government tends to do. It's a band-aid solution. It's insane. It's the same thing. We keep repeating the same problems. We keep doing the same things over and over again, expecting a different result. Definition of insanity sort of stuff. As the saying goes. Einstein's definition, pretty sure that one is. Now, conclusion. Probably worth going over. I'll probably cover it in everyone. But the conclusion, this paper describes key concepts needed to build a shared understanding of crypto ecosystem, which is, I think it does. To be fair, I think it does if you go through and read. I'm just not overly happy with them pushing this regulation on DeFi. I'm not sure, they haven't directly stated it, but it appears that they might be. Now, yeah, exactly. It's like banning, let's ban a car because someone ran someone over. So let's ban all tires. Let's ban air because air goes into the tires. Let's ban everything let's ban axles. That's kind of the logic. Now, yeah, you can see what they're trying to say. So they're trying to teach people here, but then at the same time, behind their back, what are they holding? That's my concern. Moving on though, it says the paper describes the concept of the functional perimeter. The board, functional definition of financial product in the Corporations Act, which is intended to be technology neutral, flexible, and innovation friendly. That's good. It also proposes a token mapping framework to assist in conceptualizing how crypto products might fit within existing regulatory frameworks. This is, I'm not sure if it's concerning, but I can envision them trying to categorize something like DeFi, real DeFi, under a certain sort of process which falls under a certain categorization within this framework, which might mean somehow that they need to produce financial reports, or they might have to do all the other things that financial institutions have to do. Now, that would be, I think that's a very difficult process, because you can see in the questions, I think they're thinking, what levers can be pulled to enforce this? What levers can be pulled to encourage builders of these smart contracts to comply with certain regulations? So I'm getting the gut feeling that they are coming after DeFi in some way, and I'm not sure how they're going to do it. Because it sounds like they're not going to go for a full-on token map where you define every single type of cryptocurrency there is, or smart contract there is, and set forward a particular way to treat it, because there's so many ways in which that could overlap. There's so many ways in which I guess it could be open to interpretation in some cases, but again, falling back to the on-chain data, it could be called something, but it's actually in function, it's actually doing this. Now, I'm not sure, but I think that's why they're pushing for this sort of categorization. Then once they can understand it better, then they can sort of categorize it as XYZ. But whether or not that's the right thing to do, I don't think it is. It then goes on to say, went on a bit of a rant there. It is analogous to a physical token or an entry in a registry. A token system is the business or social protocol or mechanism. It is the steps taken to perform a function in relation to crypto tokens. A function is the product or benefit provided by a token system. So they're literally trying to explain what cryptocurrency does and how it does it. And they're trying to break it down in... they're trying to create a framework. So if you have a framework in place, everything is more understandable. Because if everyone's just doing their own thing and making it up as they go along, when you compare notes, if you're using different terminology, it becomes hard to do so. You try to collaborate. How are you doing this return? How are you doing that return? How is this? What's your analysis on this? And then 3 different analyses are coming back, and they're all different. It's the same product. It would be hard to do, I would imagine. Now, yeah, it could be. Who knows? Maybe it might be like the accounting rules. Basically, they're changing every 12 months because new things are coming along. It would not surprise me one bit. But again, I'm just trying to explain to everyone, not you guys in the chat, because I'm pretty sure most of you know this. That I'm trying to explain that the government there needs to be less government. And who's going to then oversee this new regulation? Whose job is it going to be? Are they going to create a new arm? They're saying they're employing more people in ASIC. They're saying, so is it going to be ASIC's jobs to enforce this? Are they going to start deeming things as financial products, and then they're going to have to meet ASIC requirements under the Corporations Act 2000? Anyway. That will be probably an update which comes out mid 2023. So this is the initial stages. We get to put feedback, but whether or not they actually listen to us, who knows? If enough of us get together, put forward some arguments, explain to them, just train people how to read the on-chain data. Then you can define your where is it? You can define the words. I'm gonna use their words. Make sure I use their words. Cannot find it. Live on stream. The framework consists of 3 concepts: token system, and functions. So they want to break down, and that they want to use that definition, that wording. So God forbid if something else comes out of this, what are they going to do? They're going to panic. They're going to have to update all of this. So what is the point of all this? Again, maybe just to spend taxpayers' money. I'm not sure. And maybe it looks good as well. Maybe it looks really good with the sitting government. They're able to say, oh, look, we put forward a token mapping exercises, and we brought about, now this is my opinion here, and we brought about the central bank digital currency and made it so much easier to use the centralized exchanges versions of decentralized, the centralized exchanges version of DeFi. And look how much better it operates, because now we've got big giant hedge funds in here. Now we've got big banks in here, and they're all using their central bank digital currencies, and they're all trading. We can like keep all our records up to date, and there's not going to be any FTXs. Maybe that's the dream, you know? Maybe they're going to try and kill off, as per this model, cryptocurrency. So the argument they're going to say, it's all tied in together. Basically, you have ban outright Chinese model, not Chinese model, this communist Chinese party model, like the CCP, like literal communists, you know? A good commie is a dead commie, I think the saying is. Now, then we have contain. We have, prevent crypto from damaging the real economy, avoid giving crypto a regulatory seal of approval. So this is where it gets vague, because contain, to me, would be to regulate. But see, that's my interpretation. But contain, to regulate in this model, regulate is actually a positive. Now, then cons, fully effective firewall may not be feasible, investor protection and market integrity risk within crypto remain. So they're saying, because we're not banning it, we're allowing it to exist, people potentially could be scammed, therefore it still is potentially a risk, and therefore large players like hedge funds, like financial institutions, will opt out of this because there's not enough regulation. So the whole argument to me is to regulate. And then they're saying this ensures consistency in regulating financial activities, allows responsible players to innovate in a regulated space. Catch-22, if you kill off DeFi, you're killing off most of real crypto. I don't think they know this. Or maybe they do, because maybe they secretly want to move it to a contained and ban. I personally don't think they can. I personally think there's enough people throughout the world, because if they sort of contain and ban in one area, then their money is going to go to where it's treated best, Maybe people would just pack up and move to another country who's crypto friendly, who knows. What's concerning is the develop an alternative. So it literally says here, this is the Bank of Institution. I was dream people. The Bank of International Settlements, there it is, I can spit it out. The Bank of International Settlements, Bulletin number 66, 12th January 2023. This was cited in the token mapping exercise taking place in Australia. There is also one taking place in the UK. So it's a coordinated approach. We're also seeing whatever we're seeing in the US. And there's probably other stuff going on that I'm actually not over, because there's just so much happening. They mention here, basically, create, innovate. It goes on to explain the contain model, goes on to explain the regulate model, goes on to explain develop an alternative. This is the one. Given their public policy mandates, central banks may want to do more. They are actively working on this. The technologies. What did I say? I saw an article, and they're basically saying there's pilots taking place. I think it's MIT is working on the particular technology for this sort of stuff. You have a look at certain companies that are already in place, potentially with similar technologies, to roll this out. And you see here, it goes on to explain by encouraging sound innovation. I think Identity Block did have a stream on earlier today. Pretty sure the Matrix was attacking that as well. You could see it was glitching out for no reason. Anyway, basically there was a small segment worth going back and having a look, to do with developing an alternative. Now, by encouraging sound innovation in TradeFi, they could contribute a more efficient monetary system. What does that mean? More efficient than instant payments already. And things that they can track and trace already, like they're going to make it even better. Yay, central bank digital currency, here we come. Central banks are uniquely placed to do this. As they sit at the core of the monetary and financial system, their task is to provide the trust that underpins it, One important component of such strategy could be to improving such the quality and reducing the cost of payment. One option is to introduce retail fast payment systems. Here we go. I think I've read this out before. You guys probably heard. Such as the Unified Payment Interface, UPI, in India, PIX in Brazil, the upcoming FedNow system in the United States, or initiatives such as Single Euro Payments Area, SEPA. Another option is to issue central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, people. CBDCs are coming. I cannot stress this enough. Some people call them Biden bucks. Some people refer to the CCP's social credit model. Some people have said CBDCs are going to be the fourth fence that fences us in literally. That is what's coming. Hard and fast, and a lot quicker than you all expect. That meets real needs. If properly designed, here we go, if properly designed and implemented, such initiatives could support sound private sector innovation. I'll tell you what, if they were to do this, if they actually use blockchain technology properly, there would be no need for a lot of accounting jobs, because it would literally be all on chain. Think about it already though. Isn't that already kind of the case? If you use any accounting software, is it you manually writing journal entries, or are you just telling the program what to do? Let's have a look at this journal. Let's have a look at this ledger. It's all there for you already, you know? What more do they want? What more do they want? Well, it's coming. If properly designed and implemented, such initiatives could support sound private sector innovation that could help to reduce the costs of payments, enhance financial inclusion, and bolster the integrity of the system and promote user control over data and privacy. Yeah, okay. So how is a central bank digital currency going to be open to all? I'm pretty sure the the communist Chinese parties, CBDC version, digital yuan, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure it's not open for me to go in and have a look and put my nose in there and have a look and see what's going on with their, defense spending, etc., etc. Anyway, the innovation that is, like, how much did they spend on that balloon? Anyway, so the innovation that is present in certain areas of crypto could be harnessed to improve the way in which services are provided in TradeFi. See, they love this TradeFi. They loved it so much. They love DeFi so much they had to copy it and call it TradeFi. In the process, these initiatives could support the leverage new technical capabilities, notably programmability. That's what they're looking for. Composability and tokenization, thereby increasing the efficiency of TradeFi. Anyway, sorry, it went on a bit of a crazy conspiracy rabbit hole there, but back to the real world, where I'm sure we're going to get our way. The token mapping consultation paper is open until March 3rd. March 1st, I believe it was. And I think mid 2023, there is going to be an update as a result of this. Now, as I said, I'm going to do my best, try and do some replies. I thought I may as well cover this live on stream, just to show you guys this is how the government works. Like, I hate to say it, but what if the person who organized all of this, orchestrated all of this, has no intention of has no real intention of changing their plans? Maybe the plans are already in place, and maybe this is just an exercise to make us feel like we're free and open. To me, it actually feels like an exercise whereby they're actually looking for other, like whack-a-mole game, and the moles keep appearing, and you keep whacking them with the hammer, and as they keep appearing, they just have to keep whacking them, and they keep popping up. It feels like they're trying to figure out where all the moles are so they can whack them. I can't help but think that. That sounds very anti-government, but this is just my jaded view on the world and how governments tend to treat their people. It's sad, but have a look how much money every country in the world is spending on controlling and monitoring their own people, when maybe they should be using it to defend their borders or their airspace. I don't know, but yeah. Alright, that got dark pretty quick. Signing out.